Hi, welcome to tutorial number 2. My name's Tomantos. I have a bit of a cold today, or some allergies, I'm not even sure. So you might hear me sneeze or cough or something every so on. In this tutorial we're gonna do kind of a setup for a music video, performance shot. It's a very stylized kind of lighting setup that kind of works for music videos. I will be doing other tutorials where I kind of talk about different lighting setups and that kind of thing, but I will go over it briefly right now. The way that I see it, there's really three styles of cinematography out there. First is this very stylized look that we're doing in this tutorial. It's used in a lot of music videos and some films like Armageddon or Pearl Harbor, for example, both films directed by Michael Bay, a guy who actually comes from a music video background, which is probably the reason why his films look like that. Second lighting style is very it's naturalistic, but it still uses a lot of light, like intricate lighting setups to try to simulate a lot of things that happen naturally in the real world. One cinematographer that comes to my mind is Janusz Kaminski. He works with Spielberg a lot, so he did Saving Private Ryan. He also did one really cool film that didn't get a lot of exposure. It's called The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. Really nice cinematography. Check it out. And then the third lighting style is this bare bones kind of minimalistic kind of thing where you're just using available light. A good example of that is a film called A New World starring Colin Farrell. The director there and the cinematographer both just use only natural light, and it's actually a really great looking film. But and it's kind of what I did in this music video here with Christopher Charles. But a lot of people mistake it and they think it's easy to do because you have no lights to worry about. And when in fact you actually have to do a lot of homework beforehand, and you have to scout locations, write down what time of the day or of the year does the sun set or rise or illuminate a certain part of the set. And anyways, I'll talk about that in another tutorial. And in my thoughts somehow I let us slide, but you never did, you held us high. So anyways, let's begin working on this shot. It's a simple music video performance shot. Really all we care about is seeing Chris sing the song and play the guitar a bit. And since I don't really like how that room looks, I kind of decided that I'm gonna keep it pretty much low-key. Keep the background almost dark, especially after when I do color correction. I know I'm gonna crush the blacks and that will be kind of dark, and but I don't want it to look flat, obviously. And big thing in just making shots look nice is kind of giving them that kind of contrast, and you can do it through different things, through different colors that kind of contrast each other, or through lights. And in this example I'm gonna use mainly the lights. So here, this is just the normal lighting there in that room, and here you can see me turn on one of the lights. This is a 1000 watt redhead, just a simple tungsten light. And right away you can see, like when I pointed at Chris, it makes him a lot brighter than the background, so which allows me to bring down the exposure of the shot and kind of throw the background right away into darkness. Here I'm seeing me moving the light around, just kind of trying to find the best angle for it. And once I like the position of the light, which is just to the left of the camera, and slightly above Chris's eye line, which gives you this kind of a nice shadow there, under the nose and that kind of thing. But it makes this way I make sure that we can see his eyes. And right away you can see it looks kind of a lot more interesting. I don't like that painting though, that's in the painting or picture that's in the background, so I had that removed. And another thing that I noticed right away, of course, is that basically Chris blends in with the background because the right side of his face is completely dark, and especially once I color correct it, I know it's gonna be pretty much black there. And since the background there is black, he just kind of blends in. You don't see his shoulder, you don't see really the right side of his face. So the best way you can do this, and this is just again standard lighting, I'm gonna do more tutorials where I do a lot more complex lighting setups, but this one is basic. Like I said, I'm gonna be pretty much using two lights, and so that one light I see on him, we'll call it the key light, is lighting his face. And now I'm gonna throw another light behind him to the right side of the camera, and right away you'll notice that it just helps separate Chris from the background. It adds a little bit of a rim light on his shoulder, on his ear, his hair, and he just kind of stands out. And these are the kind of things that you got to pay attention so that you make the shots have a bit more depth, basically. Like I was saying in tutorial number 1, you kind of do it through the use of the depth of field and just kind of your framing and deciding what you want to put in the shot. And so in here right away you see that the background is thrown out of focus a little bit. I put that rim light around him, which kind of helps him separate from the dark background, but still keeps this kind of a dark tone. It's still like half of his face is dark. You see me here turn on and off the light, and you see the difference that it makes. So it's pretty big. Now the next thing that I do is I put little lights behind him. These lights don't really light him, they don't actually affect him at all. All that these lights do is they help give you extra contrast to the shot. And another thing is that I know I'm gonna use a streak filter to add those streaks that you see in a lot of music videos, and this way these lights will kind of help me create those extra streaks that you would see. Then I keep on adjusting the lights behind him, kind of changing the intensity of those lights. I actually put in, because originally I had 60-watt light bulbs, and I put in, I think, 200-watt light bulbs in there, just so it's a bit more of a punch, more of a noticeable light. I put some black tin foil around those lights too, to kind of make those lights a bit more of a pointy, kind of a cone shape. Next thing I do is I bring Chris closer to the camera because I want to throw the background even more out of focus, and I kind of readjust the key light and that rim light that's behind him a little bit more, just kind of fine tune the angle of it. And right away now when you look at it, it's more interesting than it was before. It might not be the world's most beautiful looking shot, but it's more interesting than for sure than what we started with. Another thing that I do is I put the camera on a dolly and just move the camera left and right a little bit to add some movement, so that this way we also have the streaks coming in and out of the frame, and just kind of adds a bit more life to the shot. But right away I see that even though the camera moves, you don't notice the movement as much, and that's because there's really nothing in the foreground to give you a sense of the fact that the camera is actually moving. So, like I said, since this is a music video shot, the things don't really need to make sense in it. I basically just put some random object in the foreground, and it's totally in the shadow, so you don't really see what it is. It's out of focus, but it just makes you aware of the fact that the camera is actually moving, and it's like a nice way to reveal Chris's face as the camera goes in, from behind the object and in front of him. And then the next thing I do is color correction. Kind of straightforward, simple, and I think with the color correction now and everything, it's a pretty nice, interesting shot. I mean, take a look for yourself. So yeah, like I said, it's pretty cool, but still, to me, I was looking at it and I thought I can maybe play around, do something more. And not all of you will like this, and like I said, that's just a matter of opinion. There's a million different ways that you can do a shot like this for a music video. So it's really up to your preference, but I basically decided to put these little, they're like these little decorations. I'm not even sure what they were. I just found it lying around, and they had little lights on it. Anyways, I put them in kind of close to the camera, turn on these little blue lights that I had, and I just threw it out of focus. And this way, it just adds more of this kind of a romantic kind of a feeling, I think, to this shot. But another big thing that it adds is just adds the depth to the shot. There's something in the foreground that's out of focus, and it also helps you notice the camera going back and forth a lot more. And here's the final product. This is how it looks. Make it turn your cloudy days and make it shining like the sun. Circumstance might say I made a mess of everything, but it don't matter when I feel the joy you bring, and I say so that's it. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to email me here on YouTube or leave some comments and let me know what you'd like me to talk about in the next tutorial.